Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bree, and I started this year to share about my PCOS journey. And really, I began like in January of this year learning about my PCOS and how to naturally treat it and lose weight with it and all of those things. And a few months into this year, when I felt comfortable with the amount of research and knowledge and experience that I had doing it, I started to share a couple of videos on YouTube about that experience. And I wanted specifically to figure out how to treat it naturally and how to lose weight with it. And something incredibly unexpected happened to me while I was 6 months into that journey. And I now, I guess, am changing the trajectory of what I'm doing, and I'm going to share about my latest experience. So in June of this year, my husband and I went on vacation, and we were in such a cute little quiet beach town off of 30A in Seagrove, Florida, in between like Destin and Panama City. So it's beautiful, like white sugar sand, waters, all the stuff. And while we were on vacation this year, I got pregnant. It's been a very overwhelming couple of months, but I am finally ready to sit down and share my experiences while being pregnant thus far and how I found out and all of that good stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to tell you guys about how I got pregnant and how I found out. So, honestly, this is a video that I never thought in a million years that I would get to make in this kind of capacity, because I have struggled with PCOS and infertility for the last 6 years. And I know prior to us going on vacation this year that my body has not ovulated in 6 years. I've had tons and tons of problems with my PCOS symptoms and weight and insulin resistance and stuff for a very long time. And I do not have periods on my own without taking a medication called Provera. So in July, it was July the 14th actually, it was a Friday, I guess had intuition, I want to say, that told me that I need to take a pregnancy test that day. And the reason that I did, I guess, have that intuition is because I felt just off. I felt like something had changed inside of my body, and I was happy about that because my ultimate goal was to naturally treat my PCOS. So I wanted to lose weight, number one, and I did end up losing about 50 pounds prior to getting pregnant. But I also wanted to treat my PCOS naturally and to have periods on my own. So I honestly thought that I had figured things out enough that my body was going to have a period in July without me having to take the Provera medication to induce my body to have a period. So for like the last 2 days before I took a pregnancy test, I had some mild cramping and some creamy brown spotting. And it was really weird for me to have the creamy brown spotting. I've never had that before specifically. I know a lot of people get it really commonly because like brown spotting is really just like old stuff coming out, like old blood technically. But I've never had that in any of my cycles. So I was like, maybe we should just take a pregnancy test. And mainly it was intuition that told me to take it because I seriously just thought I was about to have a period. So I took one. And the crazy part is I took a clear blue digital test. and it said not pregnant on it. And I will put the picture in here because it's been so long. I actually kept it. It's in a box in the garage now. But I did keep it. It's just, I'm not gonna go get it for the purpose of this video. I'll just put the picture in here. So the test said not pregnant. And again, my intuition was like, open that thing up and look at the test strip. And I don't know why, but I opened it up. I like popped open the clear blue digital test. And if you don't know how they work, they have like a little test strip in them that's gonna have 1 line or 2 lines or whatever. And it's got a little like computer chip in there that reads that test strip and gives you that digital result. So I broke it open. I took the test strip out of the little computer part, and there was 2 lines on the test strip. So the test strip is positive, but the line, I guess, was so faint that the pregnancy test just didn't pick it up on the digital side in time, or by the time it was through like processing or whatever. So I sent a picture to my husband and I was like, I know that this says that I'm not pregnant, but this line, like there's 2 lines here, like I think that I'm pregnant. And he's like, no, it's probably just like a bad test, whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, cool. But again, my intuition is like, nah, you need to check this out. So I ended up Googling it, and apparently a lot of people get false positive readings with that clear blue digital test when they are very early in pregnancy. And I was very early in pregnancy at that point in time. So after I had been on like a Google binge for that, I went to Walgreens down the street and I bought tons of boxes of pregnancy tests. And I took a first response test this next time. It was a pink dye test and it came back positive. It was a faint positive line, but it was undeniably there. So at that point I was like, okay, like I really think that I'm pregnant. So all weekend long, that weekend, I took multiple pregnancy tests multiple times a day. I did it first thing in the morning, like with my first morning pee. I did it in the afternoon. Like literally all weekend long, I took like 2 or 3 a day that whole weekend. On Monday, the next week, I called my OBGYN that I've seen for a couple of years now, and I told them I was getting positive pregnancy tests, and they brought me in for blood work so they could test my HCG levels. But because I have PCOS, they also wanted to test my progesterone levels as well. So they tested both of those on Tuesday that week, and then they're closed on Wednesday, so they called me on Thursday. And on Thursday, they told me that the HCG definitely was pregnant, but they wanted to make sure that it was increasing. So they brought me back in to make sure that it was increasing. So they did like another blood draw on Thursday. And then they told me on Thursday also my progesterone levels were low. So I needed to start a progesterone suppository, and I found a pharmacy that does progesterone suppositories, or that makes them or whatever, and got all that filled, started doing that. And on Friday that week, they called me and told me that my HCG was doubling appropriately, that I was early in pregnancy, but I was definitely pregnant. So at that point, I had to find a different OBGYN, unfortunately. My OBGYN, I love her, but she is older and she has retired from delivering babies. So she would have referred me out to someone, but the person that she referred me, or would have referred me out to, I didn't like. So I ended up choosing a new OBGYN that came highly recommended from several people in my community here. And I had my first pregnancy confirmation and consultation appointment with them when I was 7 weeks pregnant. and they confirmed everything. I got a ton of information. A lot happened in that visit. And honestly, that's kind of the entire story of me finding out that I'm pregnant. Fortunately, this year, I had also been keeping up with like my date of my last period and stuff like that on an app on my phone. And I really had been doing that just to like keep up with it, number one, but to also keep up when I took the Provera medication and when I didn't take it, because I was trying to treat my PCOS naturally. I was supplementing with a ton of things, and I'll make a video later about all of the different supplements that I took. And I was hoping that those supplements would help me have a period on my own naturally, and I believe that they would have helped me have a period naturally. I just had unprotected sex and got pregnant in the meantime. So anyways, on my phone, I at least had kept up with everything. And granted, I have PCOS, so I know my ovulation is probably more sporadic than what this app predicts, because I'm not a typical person who has a normal typical cycle. So my ovulation window is different than what this app predicts. But based off of my calculations, my last period was in June of 2023. So it started on June the 12th and lasted until like Friday of that week. So I think that I ovulated sometime between June 17th and June 28th. Personally, based off of how big the baby is and has been this whole entire pregnancy, I think that I ovulated sometime closer to the end of June. I think it was sometime between the 25th and the 28th if I had to give like a smaller date range of ovulation. Just because the baby is always measuring smaller than my actual week of gestation, but it's only by a couple of days. So it could mean that I just ovulated a couple of days later. It could mean absolutely nothing. Baby could catch up and grow even bigger. I don't know. It's just based off of all of the ultrasounds that I've had thus far. Baby is always on the smaller side. So anyways, that's how I found out that I was pregnant. Now I am much further along in my pregnancy. I am 21 weeks this week, so I am a little over halfway through, a week over halfway through, and everything is still good with baby. So far, everything has been okay with me. I haven't had any incredibly major complications as of yet, but I'm also gonna make videos and share information and that whole process and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess now I'm putting a pause on my PCOS treatment videos, and I'm going to share my pregnancy journey, mainly because I've been searching on YouTube since I've been pregnant, looking for people who have had plus size PCOS high risk pregnancies specifically. And there are some people who share, but they share very sporadically. And it's not as much information as I would want to sit down and watch and like learn about myself. So I'm just gonna share my journey and put all of my experience out there and hope that other people who are in my position now or in the future have videos to watch and relate to. So that's where we're at now. So if you're interested in following along, make sure that you subscribe, like, share, do whatever you have to do to the video in order to make sure that you follow along, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.